All right, I think I'm good. I changed the email again.
Oh, it says it's streaming on YouTube now. I think we're good.
All right, perfect.
Perfect. You got it.
I changed the email. If I again, I think no one's watching this. If I
It says
close
it's
out of
streaming on
this,
YouTube now. I think we're good.
all right, I can close YouTube, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna lag massively.
All right. We did it. Technology. Sorry. Let's build a business with blockchain.
We did it, but it's been so long. It's so nice to have you back again. Please tell us.
Here. It's good to. I'm so happy we're chatting.
Of course. How have you been?
It was a crazy few weeks. How's your new home doing? Are you still loving it?
It's nice. I actually came back for the holidays back to my city. So I'm here right now, but where I previous was, my friend tested positive. So I'm waiting for things to kind of tone down a little bit over there. And then I'm going to go back. But how have you been?
I've been good. Just, dealing with COVID like everyone else. But other than that, good, just kind of easing into this year. It's been a crazy few years for all of us. So my word this year is simplicity. So just doing a lot to stay focused, declutter everything in my orbit, from what we're building with Unblocked to my home life to my babies and all the above.
How amazing. How was your New Year's and Christmas?
It was great. We got COVID, unfortunately. So was quiet, but it was wonderful. It was a lot of downtime. We spent some time in the mountains, which was great. But yeah, it was lovely. It was a nice, while it was probably a blessing that we were quarantined and some of us weren't feeling great, just because it forced us to slow down, which sometimes is hard. How about yourself?
It was nice. We were also just back at home. It was really quiet, met a lot of old friends, because during the holidays, everyone who's in different cities comes back home. Yeah, so it was nice. But one question I've been asking everyone is, what is something that you would like to leave back in 2021? And what is something new you'd like to bring in 2022?
What a great question. Something I want to leave in 2021 is the self-induced pressure around speed and drive that I was creating for myself, that was creating a whole lot of unnecessary stress and phonetic energy in my world, and ultimately making it really hard for me to get the clarity that I very much was seeking and needed in many parts of my life. And something that I'm looking to cultivate more of in 2022 is connection. Collaboration, connection, community, which community specifically is a word I'm trying to use a bit less. So I think it's very overused these days for reasons I won't get into, but it was one of the reasons that I originally got so passionate and excited about the world of Web3 and NFTs. And it's one of our main pillars with Unblocked and what we're building. But I have realized that a lot of the digital communities that I'm in right now, and just my nature of still being in a pandemic and not being able to see people physically as much, I haven't truly been feeling connected in a way that I've been looking for. So I'm thinking a lot about, how can we build online micro communities? What does that look like for me? And just kind of cultivating more like-minded people around me in my orbit.
That's amazing. That's a nice place to be in. I can definitely feel like it's, like you said, it's very difficult to sometimes slow things down, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, which is actually counterproductive to our efficiency. So it's very important to find that balance and be much more effective, even if you're working 5 hours versus being all over the place for 8 hours. So
yeah, I think we have been for so long living in a culture that promotes productivity and achievement and and constantly being active. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But for me, I'm just finding that the more I can slow down and the more space I can create, actually, the faster things seem to progress around me, especially as it pertains to what I'm building and manifesting the things that I'm looking to manifest in my life.
Oh, amazing. Also, you bought your first NFT during these times, which was Crypto Coven. Please get into it. Why did you choose that project? And how was your experience buying your first ever NFT?
So my experience was seamless because I was very comfortable. While it was my first time pulling the trigger, I am very comfortable transacting for other reasons with all of the tech that you need to use to buy an NFT and exchange crypto. So it was easy on that front. And I had the Ethereum and all the stuff that sometimes I think can be very clunky and difficult for first-time buyers. You know this, Devika, but for others, the reason I kind of sat on pulling the trigger for so long, and some of those projects that I didn't pull the trigger on when I could have minted them back in August and July, I'm really, really kicking myself in the butt on, but was just because I wanted to really kind of be thoughtful and patient and observe on my own time how the space was unfolding and make sure that even the projects that I really believed in, that I thought there was value and utility behind, make sure that that was the case, just given how new NFTs in this whole world is, especially some of the more values-driven NFT projects. So after kind of sitting back for a few months, I decided to buy a crypto to mint 2 Crypto Coven NFTs. And I decided to start there. If you know me, I always joke that I am a witch. I'm not, maybe, who knows? But I just really liked the essence of the project. I loved the art. I had sat back and observed the Discord community and engaged a little bit there for quite a few weeks before I pulled the trigger, to make sure it was something that I connected with. And it was, a group of people that I connected with in some way, shape, or form. And it was at a buy-in price, because I did mint it, that I felt comfortable with. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. I love both of the witches that I got because I minted that I didn't know, and how they'd structured their project. I didn't know what the exact art was going to be. But yeah, I'm getting more and more. It's been wonderful to see, I truly, all tides rise together. For anyone that is in the world of NFTs or has been following it, that World of Women is having a amazing few weeks for a whole bunch of reasons, but it's been wonderful to see what that has done for the other handful, which is growing. This amount is growing, of female artists and female-led NFT projects. So to bring it back to Crypto Coven, I'm getting a whole bunch of offers, and it's been fun. All the NFTs I own, except one that I bought for my son, because the art is dinosaurs and he's 3 and he's obsessed with dinosaurs, is all from female artists. And it's been great to watch the floor of all of these projects rise. And I'm so excited for all that's to come for women in the space this year. I think it's going to be a huge year for artists, female artists, any women building things, whether it's with blockchain technology in the world of Web3 around community, or using NFTs technology in other creative ways.
That's amazing. And I feel like your first purchase checks up all the boxes, is buying projects that resonate with you.
Yes.
And I know you feel like a little sour about the fact you missed out on some projects, but like you said, you weren't ready. There's no point FOMOing on projects just because you feel like I should do something because everyone's doing it. And now a choice that you make is well informed. And even if projects don't end up doing well in the short term, you still are happy with the collectible that you have. And you like the community. It gives you access to people. You spend time on Discord and everything. I feel like that's a good investment any time of the day.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that was important to me is, this whole space is built around, not the whole space. For a lot of people, one of the values of this whole space is financial inclusion and accessibility. And Gary Vee always says this, and it's great advice that a whole lot of wise people share often, which is don't invest any money that you aren't willing to lose. And so that's been an interesting dynamic for me with buying NFTs. There's a certain threshold, buy-in threshold from a price point standpoint, I'm not comfortable spending, and that's okay. But for these projects, again, I like minting things because I'm buying them and it's a risk in a lot of ways, right? Like project might be a flop and I'm going to lose money. But with these projects, I felt comfortable from an investment standpoint. They weren't going to go below that mint price. So yeah, I think, and I'm really curious and excited, both with stuff we're building, as well as kind of what other people are doing. I'm excited to see how we kind of solve for true financial accessibility as the space evolves, because, a lot of people can't afford buying into a community, no matter how much they believe in it, at 1, 2, 3, 77 Ethereum. That's thousands of dollars. So yeah, I don't really have a takeaway there, but I think it's an interesting conversation that I hope more people start having or continue to have, the ones that are having it.
Yeah, your intentions were right. You wanted to invest in projects you believe in. I feel like a lot of people now want to invest in NFTs. Yes, they do believe in like the projects and stuff, but they most often see like the money aspect of it, right? Like an alternative investment. And I feel like a very good advice for those guys would be, that's why minting is risky, because you don't really want to be a part of the community. You're just looking to make like quick money. And that's fair, like there's nothing wrong in that. But the smart move, I feel like what I've been observing is actually buying projects that are somewhere around like 1 ETH, because they have already given you enough data, enough proof of success on what they're capable of. And people start off with the fact that I don't have that kind of money. But if they want to invest in NFTs, they should save, invest their money, and then come to a point where they can buy it. Instead of losing even like 0.6 Ethereum, it's better that you buy one and make it a 1.2, make it a 1.3 and exit, saving, investing and buying in projects. I feel like for people who really want to get in to make the quick money, I think like that's like the best strategy I'm observing.
Yeah. And to be fair, I have not touched flipping NFTs, day trading, any of that. So I can't speak to it. People are making a whole lot of money. It's a whole different game. And I think it's a scary, you got to be educated if you're going to go down that path. But I think to your point, I get more and more questions on a daily basis for random texts from friends and people in my world asking if they want to buy an NFT, what project should they buy? And then is it a good investment? And I always answer the same thing, which is you got to do your own research. For me, I believe I believe in the project, but I believe deeply in an NFT technology. So when I invest, even if it is 1 Ethereum, which is a good amount of money for almost everyone in this world, I believe it's just a reallocation of capital that I have. So I'm investing it. I could invest that 1 ETH in the stock market. I could invest it in Ethereum. I could stake it. I could buy a piece of physical art, or I could buy an NFT. But you need to believe and understand in NFTs if you're going to decide to reallocate your capital and invest in that medium. And the other thing is, and this is where I love the video that you created for Unblocked around how to analyze an NFT project, is there's so many. If you're a woman and I know you have similar values and interests to me, then yes, I can say like, oh, I have a list of like, here's the 15 female artists NFT projects that like I've vetted and I believe in. But outside of that, because that's my area of passion in which I've researched, outside of that, like there's so many, as you know. So I think you really and I think that's one thing that's annoying to people that aren't in the space. They're like, I don't have time to research. I don't have time to learn. And I get it. Trust, like I have a 3-year-old at home. I have another baby on the way. I have 2 businesses I'm running, but you got to do it if you want to play in this space. That's where, hopefully there's thankfully more and more resources out there like Unblocked and other amazing platforms that have the goal to make education of this really heady, complex stuff much easier and digestible, so you can hop in, learn what you need, and make a decision and then go about the rest of your busy life. But there's the spaces. Someone used the word cavernous to describe the NFT space to me recently, and I thought that was quite perfect. It's just like a black hole that just keeps expanding somehow. There's more projects, there's more to learn, there's more use cases, which is exciting, but also wildly overwhelming, or can be.
100%. Yeah, I feel like people have to do their own research, because I still feel like so many people who invest in NFTs still don't understand that it is not about buying a JPEG. It is about the utility. It is just a visualization of a smart contract, essentially. But a lot of people who are also releasing the NFTs, that's only like a section of it being art and buying into photographs and visuals. But the bigger section of it is actually investing into a company, which I feel like even people who are selling it are missing out the point, because they see quick money to get in and get out. But in the long term, they're going to lose their reputation, because people are, going to curse you, they lose their money and stuff. So I feel like intentions from the buyers and the sellers, both sides, should be clear as to why they're doing it, what they're doing it. I feel like it is incredibly important to learn about the buyers also. I remember investing in an NFT project, which has been the biggest flop of mine. But apparently the buyers had ended up spending even like 500K to giving it influencers to post it on their stories and stuff like that. So once you find out about information like that, you understand that instead of investing that money into their community, instead of doing utilities, they're trying to promote the project because they want to get everything minted out. So that is why research is important from both ends.
Totally. I actually, there's a show, I don't know if you ever watched it, on Netflix called Explained. And they're, I think, like 25 minutes each episode, but they have a few seasons now. They explain things, as you can imagine. But one of the episodes I watched recently, I think it was the most recent season, was all on scams and things like Ponzi schemes, etc., throughout history. And I don't remember the name of the article of the episode. It actually might have been like a cryptocurrency or crypto episode, and they covered this. But regardless, what they walk you through as the viewer is how anytime throughout history, the beginning of time, when there is something new, it is chock full of scammers and people that are doing bad things to capitalize and prey off of the uneducated and the weak. And that's in a lot of ways a lot of what we're seeing now. And I don't think it's going to end. We're in the anytime soon. We're in the beginning, literally the earliest of days, with Web3, NFTs, crypto. So yeah, you just gotta be fucking smart, man. And I was reading one of the newsletters I love for education is Blockworks, and I think it was their year-end review, but it was the guy that writes their daily newsletter, who's obviously deep in the space and wildly educated. But one thing he said was, one of his crypto resolutions going into the new year was to just move through transacting and decision-making when he's doing anything in the world of Web3 in a much slower way, because we all live in such a digital world where all the technology we use, whether we realize it consciously or not on a daily basis, is so intuitively designed. Checking out on Amazon, looking at something from Google Maps, like we do it in our sleep, right? And he was saying, and it was such an aha for me, because I realized I'm doing the same, like the tech around buying an NFT, using some of the exchanges, even crypto gaming with rewards, it's still fresh. It's pretty clunky. It's very easy to get scammed, especially if we start talking about Discord. And that's when mistakes happen, but because we're so wired to be like, oh, this should be easy, click, 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 click. That's how we are wired behaviorally to intuitively move through how we're transacting. And for me, that it was not hot, because like the few times I have gotten burned, that's exactly what I was doing yesterday. I almost synced up my MetaMask because I got from one of the NFT projects I'm in. It was from a DM. It was on mobile, so I couldn't tell it was a DM. It looked like it was the same profile picture, more or less, as the admin. And it was like, all holders can have chance to win X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh, I love this project so much. They're fucking awesome, giving back to their community. Click, click, click. And they asked for my secret catchphrase. Yeah, whatever. And I know not to give that. But I literally, the reason I stopped wasn't even because of that. I was like, MetaMask is so janky on mobile. I'm going to go to my computer. And then as I was pulling up MetaMask, I was like, oh my God, Dayna, you fucking idiot. I went to my DMs, and of course it wasn't from the Boss of Beauty, anyone in the admin or their announcements channel. It was from a DM. So you got to be careful is my point. In my long-winded rant.
That makes so much sense. Like you said, we're so wired to clicking on things that can completely relate to it, because we sometimes even don't know what we're clicking on and we're just clicking on. And I love this phrase about going really slow in the Web3 space, because a lot of things are quite foreign to even us who've been in the space. Yeah. So just give like 2 thoughts before we actually end up signing up our wallet and stuff somewhere. I think it's definitely like great advice.
And you said this earlier. You gave me this advice because I cry every day about that I didn't mint a Women of the World back in early August. But I was also so bummed. I tried to buy a Flyfish NFT because I'm obsessed with that project, Gary Vee's new restaurant/hospitality membership NFT. And I think we have to remember, and I didn't get it because it was just, there was probably 50,000 other people trying to mint it from their website. But you just have to remember, like, there's going to be more wows. There's going to be so many more projects. So if you don't get that project that you believe in so deeply, or the floor quickly goes up past a price threshold that you're just not comfortable buying it at, it is okay. Be patient. The space is so fresh. There's going to be so many more cool projects and stuff that you'll be able to buy in on. And I have found that, with each thing I don't get or each thing I do buy, and just the more time I spend in the market, in this space, educating myself, I always look back and I'm like, oh, it was such a blessing that that didn't work out. I don't feel that way yet with WoW or Flyfish, but hopefully I'll be there. Someday. Like, when Women of the World hit 77 ETH, like Bored Ape Clubs, I'll just be like, I'm so happy I didn't buy it for 0.05 Ethereum when I could have minted it.
I really feel like the market will see a dip. Even the Flyfish thing is so new right now. I really, really believe like it's going to see like a little, like, because the entire market is like just so much money in the system, right?
Yeah.
It's still on such a high. There's still people who just don't get it. I'm genuinely hoping that there's going to be a big dip when people will start cashing out quick, but then the people who are smart will buy the dip. So if we just see like the pattern of how when the internet boom happened, the .com boom happened, how it went up, then went down, and then, stabilized itself. I feel like that's going to happen with NFTs as well. And we'll clip this moment right then.
Yes. We'll have this footage. And I've definitely shared this, I think, with you in some of our past conversations, but I'm going to share it with anyone that might be watching this. Because I loved it so much. I've gotten the advice from a few very wise people in my world over the last few months, and they actually aren't even connected, which makes me love this even more. They've said, Dayna, more like as it pertains to the speed at which I wish I sometimes could be moving with what I'm building. They said, Dayna, would you rather be, if you could go back in time, would you have rather have built something before the .com boom or after the .com boom? The answer is obviously after the .com boom. No one knows what the future is going to look like for Web3 or crypto, but yeah, I think it's, again, very early. We can assume the market economically has to correct itself at some point. TBD on how that will unfold, but I think patience is why I'm not innately a patient person. There's, the older and wiser I get, there is so much power in it. So I hope that provides solace to anyone else that might be feeling a little bit itchy with speed.
I think that's very realistic. And I want to ask you, since the last time we had a conversation, what would you say have been like the top 3 ups or lows for like Unblocked?
Remind me when we chatted last, roughly like November, maybe December.
Yes. The time we did a YouTube live was, October-ish.
Oh my God.
So highs and lows.
Let's start with the highs. The highs have been getting more focused and really clear on exactly what we're building and how we plan to drive the most impact to this audience. From day one, I've been very clear on the mission and the vision, and we've had so many kind of big and small initiatives that have been very similar. Some of them we've actually kind of gone full force down the path of trying to launch or build the thing, but I've continued, that was hard. So, and I think there was just too much going on. And as they say, you can only do so many things. I don't know that we're going to massacre this, but you can either do a whole lot of things mediocre, or you can do a few things really well. So that's a high, right? Yes, Claire.
100%. Yeah.
I always start with, I was going to start with the lows, and then I was going back and forth in my brain, and then I blacked out while I was talking. Other highs have been, there's more momentum with what we're doing. And that has brought a whole lot of amazing new women and connections into my orbit. I've been having so many awesome conversations with women, both in this space as well as different industries. And I've been having such a blast chatting with all of them. My true vision with Unblocked and everything that I'm kind of doing professionally and how I want to show up and move through this world is to truly build such a collaborative world around myself, so we can together support each other and build things together and make the most impact for the collective. So that's been awesome. And the last high has been, I've really been doing a lot of work to take the pressure off myself on how fast at which I am moving and exactly kind of what this end goal looks like. I'm really trying to every day enjoy, as cliche as it sounds, the journey and not be just so focused on the destination. And I'm right now in that's not, that hasn't been easy based on who I am. And I'm finally, after doing a lot of work and kind of slowing down and getting clear, at a place where I feel like that's the space at which I'm living. So I've been really enjoying that. The lows have been, one, I needed to pull back a little bit on the team that I was building, which I was loving and providing me immense value for all the obvious reasons, just because it became really clear I didn't have the time and the energy to continue to support them in the way that was necessary for where I was at in my life. And even just small things you think about, like onboarding people, like building out those systems to make sure that people are set up for success. Trying to think of some of the other lows. Also, like just dealing with the lows that come with the peaks and valleys that come with entrepreneurship and starting your own thing. There's been some low lows, not to sound dramatic, but I was sick all of December, more or less. So that didn't make it easier. And my pregnancy is a extreme high, and I'm so grateful, but that's been really hard at times. Just it's a blessing. It's forcing me to slow down and surrender. But as it pertains to trying to build a high growth startup in a space that is moving so fast, faster than I think anyone could have ever imagined, that's been a big challenge. I don't want to call it a low. It's been a challenge.
Thanks for being so honest. And that is why we have this like show of like documentation, because it is not easy to do what you're doing. I would like to remind people that you're already running a company. Unblocked is the second. You also have a kid. And you also have pregnancy. That's like so much happening at once. I think first of all, super proud of you. And I feel like it's really, really important to record these aspects to humanize humanize entrepreneurship. It's not about constantly go, lose your balance, have no life, constantly work. I don't find a lot of happiness in that stage, but you're also trying to impact people. So you don't have to choose either or. I think it can be both. and it can be and. You just need to define your own balance. No one can tell you what that is, and live an incredible life. You don't have to stop your life for the next 7 years to build this company out. You will not be happy in that position. So I think there's so much to learn from this. And thanks for being honest. I think it's very difficult for people to share these aspects of their life.
For better or worse, it's all I know how to be. But yeah, no, I think, I'm turning 35 in a few months, and I'm just at a place where I am very clear on who I am, the life that I want to build, how I want to show up in this world every day. And that's my North Star. But yeah, no, I'm not at a place. And that's been another challenge. And we've talked about this a few times, but just by nature of the fact that a lot of this world skews a little bit younger. And again, I'm not old, I'm in my mid 30s, but I don't have the time to be constantly on Twitter and engaging in Discord and all of these things. And that's totally okay. But that's it, right? Like that's where I'm trying to just be at ease and okay with building businesses and a life based on who I am and what I'm trying to achieve. And I think it's not easy, but I think the world would be a better place if we can all kind of, again, get clear on who we are and what we want, what we're looking to build or do with our time here, and just be unapologetically okay engineering whatever the fuck it is to get there based on those things.
Yes. Based on so many hats you're wearing, can you give us like one advice for each hat? One advice for being a mom, one advice for being an entrepreneur, one advice as being in a relationship, one advice, like all the hats you're wearing.
Oh, this is so hard, but yes, I'll do my best. So one, I think advice for all of them is be kind to yourself. Every day, I remind myself to talk to myself exactly how I talk to my best friend or you or anyone I care about or that I'm trying to help them get through something. We so often are the most critical with our inner voice and how we are speaking to ourselves. As a mom, I think if I've learned anything in the 3 years of being a parent, it's not what it's they learn through osmosis. So that's where I'm every day just I'm doing my best. I try to be kind to others. I try to be mindful when my son's engaging with me, not being on my phone. And also if I am and I make a mistake, saying, hey, sorry, Theo, like mom's working right now. I need a second. And just being who you are and knowing that they pick up on motherfucking everything. As an entrepreneur, this is so, it's hard for me to answer in these buckets. So I'm going to just actually answer because there's my life. That's another thing I think, especially if you choose the entrepreneur path, there's no boundaries. Everything is in one bucket. But the other thing that I've found a lot of value in, and I'm trying to remember every day, is just show up every day, put one foot in front of another. If you have a fucking shitty day, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. And it's all about building brick by brick. Rome wasn't built in a day. And focus on you. To quote my girl Tank's, comparison of this is the thief of joy. And there's so much noise in the world we live in, whether it's spiritual advice, how to be your healthiest self, where to have a voice. If you need to have a voice, do you need to have a platform? Do you not need to have a platform? Is corporate America what you should be doing? Should you be an entrepreneur? Try to shut it all out and just focus on you. It's too hard otherwise.
I know there is so much noise from your friends, expectations, society, the internet. It's difficult to retain yourself, what is my foundation? What are my core beliefs? What are things I will not budge from? I think it's having a strong identity.
And the last big thing that's been really relevant for me and helpful is just remembering that, especially with relationships, but life in general, it happens in seasons. And that's okay. Relationships, there's times when there's people that you're so close with, and that is a moment in time and a season in your life. And some people you're friends with forever, and some people, that's not the case, and that's okay. You can end that relationship with nothing but love. And it's the same with, chapters in your life. You might have had, we get so hung up on the past, I think sometimes, and just loving that moment and not focusing on it, and just being open-minded to kind of, if you feel like you're migrating into that next season of your life, being present, enjoying it, and just knowing that what happened before was a moment in time, just like this will eventually be. And all we have is the now, not to, again, sound cliche, but it's true.
It is. And I was thinking, how about we end every episode with a segment of how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10 currently?
This is a personal thing. I don't love happiness as a metric for my own well-being.
Right. Well, we can switch it up.
No, I think it's a small caveat. I just like to focus more on the emotion of joy, but we won't go into the semantics of that right now.
No, but if you're not comfortable with it, let's not make it an everyday segment. It was just
an idea. Please,
I
today, it depends on the day. I have, there's been a lot going on in my world. But I'd say I'm at an 8 today.
Dope.
Yeah. Dope. Okay.
Yes. And all right, every episode we're going to do a different metric. We'd be like, okay, how grateful for you, or how excited are you, or something of that sort. But
I like this is your show, so you just tell me. You tell the question. You ask me the questions. I'll show up and answer to the best of my ability, depending on that day. But yeah, I mean, happiness is an interesting thing. I think. Again, I try to, in each moment, focus on what are the small things, big and small things that just light you up or bring you joy. But again,
I agree. I liked, as soon as you said I don't like to put happiness on a metric, it just clicked on me. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's a little unfair to do to yourself, and just to be like, oh, I'm on a 4 today, and that, just saying that out loud can put you low. I get it. I'm gonna correct myself. All right. I know everyone has a different definition of happiness and stuff, but it's something that all of us have all the right to define it by ourselves. Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Any other questions? This is so fun. Let's keep going.
This was it for Unblogged. Anything on the end note would you like to share? Any advice that you might have? I feel like it's extracted so much out of you. So if I have any energy left.
This day is just getting started. No, yeah, I think, as always, we're looking to create content right now and relationships that are helping others navigate the world. So we want any and all feedback on how our content is helping you do that. If there's anyone you think we should be talking to, we're going to be launching a new interview style podcast with women from all different industries and different perspectives, all kind of through the lens of the world of Web3 and just how the areas in which the world is currently shifting from a cultural standpoint based on a lot of these new technologies. So yeah, topics that people are interested in. Again, it doesn't have to be how to invest in crypto. One thing I'm really interested in, again, is is there an opportunity to disrupt how we're thinking about building communities? Given a lot of people I've talked to are saying that the digital communities they're part of and community at large is not something that's fulfilling them right now. We have an astrologer on tap for our interview that we'll be talking to and about what the future charts are saying about all of the trends we're seeing today financially, digitally, culturally, etc. So yeah, don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Again, we're always looking to connect with people and collaborate to make the world a better place.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have some fun big stealth mode projects we're working on. I'm not talking about them yet, but I'm excited to eventually share them with the world when they're ready. They're still baking.
So excited. Please follow us on Instagram to keep up to date with everything that's happening. And one thing on the last one I really want to share with you is there's so many people who are trying to build a company in the blockchain and NFT space and stuff like that. One of the things I find exceptional about Unblocked is it was clear about its intentions right from the start. Everyone wants to get in it to make quick money because they feel like, they can make $1 million and they can make $1 billion. But I remember like when I was like even joining Unblocked, the mission I was reading, the purpose I was reading, the way everyone was communicating with each other, it was about building a community. It was about empowering women. It was about like the intention thing is what struck with me. And I want to just say that is exceptional to not get lost in the sauce of like all the money in the system and everything. So I genuinely feel like so proud and happy and genuinely passionate about being here and working with you. So I just wanted to like bring that to your attention because I've had a lot of interactions with the companies who are trying to like do stuff and collaborate, but this is something that stands out to me. People who think about legacy and mission and purpose. I feel like that's exceptional.
For sure. And we'll do another episode on intentionality because it's one of the things I could talk about the most for a whole bunch of reasons. But yeah, I think everything comes back to intentionality. And it brings me so much joy to hear you say that because that was so important from day one. And yeah, I think it's a great way to end this podcast. Thinking about I actually listened to one of my favorite people to listen to is Jay Shetty, his podcast. And I was listening to one of his most recent podcasts and he was talking about how, so often we're so focused on goals, especially around the new year. But if you shift it and think about not what you're trying to achieve, but what is the intention of what you're trying to achieve, it really, and I made that shift in my life quite some time ago. And I've noticed such a difference, but it changes, it reframes things in a really powerful way. So I would encourage anyone to think about that a little bit more if that resonates with them.
It's amazing. Yes, let's do in our next episode. Let's cover let's keep it intention themed. We'll try and frame up some questions on that side of the note. And maybe also take in some questions from our Instagram audience and stuff.
I'd love that. Yeah. Anyone. That's another thing. Please tell us what you want to hear. More of, less of. We're open to it all.
Yes.
We're here
Thank
for
you
you.
so much for doing this, Dayna.
All right. Bye, girl. Talk to you soon. Thank you as always.